The 2024 season of the NASCAR season will be remembered for being a very wacky year. So, let's turn it back and look at 15 moments from the 2024 NASCAR season, starting with the Truck Series. And the first one from the Truck Series is the rivalry between Corey Heim and Christian Eckes. Now, this rivalry was mainly a championship rivalry, I'll say. Yes, it had the little run-in, I believe, at Gateway, I believe it was, or WWT Race, or whatever the hell it's called, but Gateway, I'm pretty sure that's where they had the little run-in. There was a confrontation there between Heim and Eckes. I guess that really spewed up the rivalry between these two drivers. But I'll be honest, I mean, these two were the championship favorites coming into this year. I mean, Corey Heim, he came off last year on a massive chip on his shoulder thanks to Carson Hocevar basically ruining his championship hopes. Christian Eckes had a very good year last year, but didn't make it to the championship four. So, with them to make it to the championship four, was definitely great to see. But it'll be interesting to see of how both of them go now in their separate careers now that they're not facing each other all the time. Eckes is obviously now moved up to the Xfinity series with Colleague Racing. Corey Heim is still for some reason in the Truck Series, so we'll see how that goes for those two. The next one is Raja Caruth getting his first win at Las Vegas. It was a long time coming for Raja, being part of the Drive to Diversity program as well. Drove for Rev Racing for a bit, I think, during the ARCA series. And he was pretty competitive there. Pretty sure as well getting some select starts for, pretty sure with Alpha Prime Racing, as well with Hendrick Motorsports, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong there. But, I mean, he deserves it. I mean, he's a very good driver. He's very capable. He's still very young. So I think he has a lot more time to develop and to prove that he deserves to be in the NASCAR circuit. Yes, it's gonna maybe take him a while to maybe go up to the Xfinity Series full time. Maybe start maybe 2026. Maybe we might see that if he improves from last year, or I should say from this year to next year in 2025, also with Spy Motorsports. But we'll see if Raja can get multiple wins. I fully expect he does, because I think that win that he got in Vegas has definitely awakened him. Next up is Lane Riggs getting 2 wins in a row. Obviously at the Milwaukee Mile and at Bristol, pretty sure on a round of 10. I was very surprised that he kind of struggled this entire season, but at the latter half of the season, they picked it up, and they were obviously the best of the rest, finishing in 11th place. Yes, I mean, he could have been a playoff contender, but I think that entire front row team just took a massive step back from where they were last year with Zane Smith. So, and considering that he was a rookie, I mean, this is his first time in the Truck Series full time, obviously he's going to struggle a bit. So I think this year, expect maybe Lane Riggs to be in victory lane a bit more, compared to his 2 wins that he got this year. But considering of how well he ended off this year, I expect him to compete for wins throughout the 2025 season. And the final one is Ty Majeski winning the championship from basically someone who did part-time for the Roush Fenway number 60 car, which was well known for crashing every single weekend, and then to become a mechanic in the Truck Series for Full Sport Racing, to now winning a championship in only like a couple years, which is pretty impressive there. A man who's, well, just like William Byron, started in iRacing, and I think was mainly like the first drivers pretty sure to be picked up from that platform. So with Ty Majeski to win this championship is amazing. I think he does deserve it, even though yes, it isn't Hyman Eckes. Majeski was maybe the best driver if Hyman Eckes wasn't there. He was very consistent. And I mean, he was part of the big 3 as well with Hyman Eckes. So obviously one of those 2 was going to win the championship. And I'm quite glad Ty Majeski did, because he deserves it. He's a very capable driver. He's a very good driver. I'm not too sure what his future is looking like in his NASCAR career, if he is going to return to Full Sport Racing, or if he's going to, I don't know, maybe move up to the Xfinity Series. I'm not too sure, but I'm excited to see where he goes. Moving now to the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and this is me being a bit biased, that being Shane Van Gisbergen grabbing multiple wins in his rookie season. Yes, he wasn't the only rookie to win in his first season. That had been obviously Jesse Love, and I guess as well, I guess you can maybe say Connor Zilisch as well. But either way, it was either Van Gisbergen and Love, I'll be honest, to win Rookie of the Year, which obviously Love did. But for Van Gisbergen to basically win in his first full-time NASCAR campaign is pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive, not gonna lie. Yes, it's mainly on road courses, but he slowly got better on the ovals, which you can definitely tell from his results at the very beginning of the season to where he is now, where he was maybe around the 20th region potentially on mile half. So now he's like maybe around the top 15, sometimes even more in the top 10 even. So I think he's definitely improved. We'll see how he goes for the Cup Series. I'll be interested to see how he goes there, as that is a completely different beast compared to what he's used to in the Xfinity Series. But he should be okay considering that these Cup cars is what he's mostly used to, I guess I'll say. And Trackhouse has been a pretty good team. Yes, they struggled this year and they only had one driver to make it to the playoffs, but I maybe expect Van Gisbergen to be competitive. I don't think he's going to win any races next year. Next up is that amazing Texas finish between Sam Mayer and Ryan Sieg. I never thought I'd be talking about Texas positively, but here we are. I think this might be the closest NASCAR Xfinity Series finish in history, and it's kind of weird that we've had quite a lot of close finishes this year. Bumper to bumper, well, I wouldn't say bumper to bumper, but side by side, banging doors, across the line. Sam Mayer only won by, I believe, 1,000th of a second, if not maybe a bit closer, 2,000ths or something. But it's really it's heartbreaking for Ryan Sieg, especially considering he was so close. Not only that time, but multiple times throughout the season to get his first win, and he's very close to clocking out over 400 starts. And Jeremy Clements already has 2 wins. So with him to be in in my opinion, a much more competitive car than Jeremy Clements, but Clements has gotten multiple wins before him, it's quite sad to see. I'm praying, and I really am praying, that Ryan Sieg does eventually win the next year, because he absolutely deserves it after just basically working his entire ass off with his own team for the past couple decades. So I generally hope that Ryan Sieg does get his first Xfinity Series win. As for Sam Mayer, this kind of helped him as he was in a horrendous position before this. I think he was like around like the top 20 or something. He was in like the 20s or even in like the 15s or something. It was that bad for him. But I think that win definitely turned his season around, and it helped him as well to be pretty deep as well in the playoffs. So it's good for Sam Mayer, but wasn't good for Ryan Sieg. Next up is that amazing IMS finish between Riley Herbst and Eric Almirola. On the final lap, on the final corner as well, Riley Herbst made a pretty ballsy dive bomb into the inside of Eric Almirola, and Riley Herbst skated by and won the race, and led Cole Custer as well for a 1-2 for Stewart-Haas Racing. It was definitely a great return to the oval for NASCAR. Like, yes, the Cup Series was a bit controversial because of the caution, but this Xfinity Series finish definitely proved that the oval is here to stay. Yes, it was Riley Herbst's like 2nd or 3rd career win, I believe. So yeah, he hasn't had the best season in the Xfinity Series, but I mean, it definitely shows that he can basically be there when the time comes, and he can clutch up a win as well, just like how he did in IMS to lock himself into the playoffs. So I'm interested to see how Riley Herbst goes now with 2311 Racing. He's now back with Toyota. But this finish will be, I would say, will be memorable for a couple years. It might be forgotten for maybe in the next 10 years, but maybe next year or even maybe 3 years time, I think this finish will still be remembered by fans. Next up is a first-time winner, that being Connor Zilisch getting his first win at Watkins Glen. This win kind of cemented him in NASCAR. I mean, yes, he's competed in basically every series under the sun I can really think of in America, like IMSA especially, the Mazda Miata Cup. He was competed as well, obviously in ARCA as well. I mean, this kid, I'm serious, this kid is like the next generation of Kyle Larson, which is really saying something. Put him in anything and he will win. And he's kind of like Shane Van Gisbergen, and hell, both of them are with Trackhouse technically. So with him as well to win at Watkins Glen, that was amazing to even witness. And to beat out veterans like Austin Hill, AJ Allmendinger, I guess you could say maybe Shane Van Gisbergen, but in road courses, Sam Mayer, it shows of how capable and how talented this kid is. So I am really excited to see how he goes next year with Junior Motorsports. I hope and I generally think he's going to get multiple wins next year. And the final one is Justin Allgaier's roller coaster championship run. I mean, this championship run that he had in Phoenix might maybe be the most memorable championship run in the Xfinity Series history. I mean, from like jumping to start, getting a pit lane penalty, then getting another pit lane penalty, to then claw it back after like I'll say there's some luck on his hand, to then win the championship. And he deserves it. I mean, he has been in the series for so long. He's been so close multiple times of winning the championship. And he has been in competitive, and he has also been in pretty competitive equipment for quite a while as well. Like before he was with Junior Motorsports, and even before he jumped up to the Cup Series, he was with Turner Scott Motorsports, which I will say was maybe a top 10, top 15 team. Like they were a pretty good team. Like if bloody Reed Sorensen can get that car into championship contention, then Justin Allgaier can also do that as well. So with Allgaier to finally break through after countless tries, countless heartbreaks, then I'm so happy. Like I was jumping around. I was so happy when Allgaier crossed that finish line first between all the Championship 4 drivers. And it really shows as well the respect that these Championship 4 drivers had to Allgaier when every single one of them just congratulated him because he's been in the series for a while. So Justin Allgaier absolutely deserves this championship. Now moving to the NASCAR Cup Series, and we'll first start off with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. landing a punch on Kyle Busch. During the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro, pretty sure it was like a first lap incident where Busch kind of got a bit hot-headed and turned Ricky Stenhouse Jr. into the outside wall. And because I'm pretty sure the gate was closed at the entrance of the track, basically meaning that Stenhouse couldn't get out. So changing from his racewear to casual wear, it was quite funny, as obviously some iconic potential meme photos of Stenhouse waiting at Kyle Busch's hauler, and then Stenhouse landing the punch as well on Kyle, and Bob Parker's like dropping his phone and stuff. It was quite funny there, but I don't think I did not have on my bingo card that Stenhouse and Busch would go at it again. They already gone at it. Well, not really gone at it, but like they've already feuded. I think back in 2017, I believe. So obviously it was probably gonna happen again, but I wasn't expecting a punch from Stenhouse. Next up is the closest NASCAR finish in history. That being at Kansas between Kyle Larson and Chris Buescher by only 1/1000th of a second. Yeah, that's it kind of shows how close it was, that the broadcasters didn't know who won. It was, I think they originally thought it was Buescher, but it turned out to be Kyle Larson, basically demolishing the previous closest finish, that being between Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven in the 2003 Darlington race, where Ricky Craven won by an inch. And the commentators knew instantly it was Ricky Craven. So with them to do that, basically demolishing that finish, that closest finish in history. Yeah, we have now a new one. It's going to be quite a while for that to be toppled, I'll be honest. I don't think we're going to see that in the next coming years. Next up is another finish, that being the 3-wide finish at Atlanta between Daniel Suarez, Kyle Busch, and Ryan Blaney. Not only that Daniel Suarez got his second career win in this close fashion, but this finish also gathered media attention, like for like the first time since the Hail Melon back in 2022. So it has been a while, obviously, and obviously this is obviously when Icy Bird was introduced into NASCAR, and that was a massive thing as well. I don't know a lot about him, but I'm pretty sure he's like a massive star, a massive person in the NFL, I believe, in the NFL side. So with him to as well together that. And all the media as well coming in. It was great to see NASCAR back in the spotlight, because it has been a while since NASCAR has been in the spotlight. But I mean, I also, just like in the previous entry, I was not expecting a 3-wide finish coming to the line. Basically, seen out of cars. Other than the tongue being used, but either way, it was a very memorable finish. A not so memorable finish is Austin Dillon's controversial Richmond win. Now, I say win in massive quotations, as yes, it was a win counter to his career, but it didn't matter in the playoffs, as that win did not count. Yeah, I mean, that's one way to win a race. I've never seen that in my life. Like, he not only wrecked Joey Logano, and he came from Narnia into turns 3 and 4, but also turned down intentionally to wreck Denny Hamlin to win the race as well. And I can understand Logano's frustration. I mean, yes, he did a burnout, like right in front of Dillon's pit box where his bloody family was there, which I guess it isn't the best, but at the same time, I can understand his frustration. Like, you don't do that. The only time you do that is in a video game with AI, not online against other people, obviously, because then you're just going to get banned and stuff. So with Dillon to do that, it was a massive, it was a massive black eye into NASCAR, and it kind of questioned, I guess, the driver integrity of NASCAR. If a driver could just wreck, like, if they could just wreck other people to win the race, that's not the best. So I'm glad that NASCAR took action and took away his win for being counted into the playoffs, and they still counted his win as a career win. But I hope, and I'm praying, I hope I do not see that ever again. Let's continue with the bad stuff from NASCAR, that being the Martinsville fiasco, where two manufacturers basically were helping the other drivers to punch their ticket into the playoffs, into the championship 4. I mean, it's such a confusing time that I generally think that someone should make just a whole video on this, because it's so confusing. But basically, I'm going to try and explain as quickly and, you know, compact as I can. Final race of the round of 8, it was mainly going to be between, like, I should say coming to maybe 10 laps or maybe 5 laps to go. It was between William Byron and Christopher Bell, Chevy and Toyota. The Chevys first acted first when there was a blockade between, I think it was Austin Dillon and Ross Chastain. So they did a blockade basically, where they just went side by side throughout the entire track and basically helping out Byron of not getting past. They refused to pass William Byron. And while on the other side for Toyota, Bubba Wallace was having an issue and slowed down quite drastically, maybe like 20 seconds off the pace, to let Christopher Bell by, who then basically cooked it on the final corner on the final lap and just wall ride, basically doing a half Ross Chastain. There was a bit of confusion, because I'm pretty sure they were tied on points when the race ended. And it took them maybe half an hour, even maybe 10 minutes or something, to figure out who was in or not. Ended up being William Byron, as they had to penalize Christopher Bell for wall riding because of safety violations. But yeah, I mean, if you thought that the Richmond finish was gonna be a black eye in NASCAR, this was a massive one. And to be fair, it was. I mean, it was definitely NASCAR's fault for introducing the round playoff system. But at the same time, it was the manufacturers, and they don't really have something in the rulebook that can actually penalize the manufacturers. I'm pretty sure they will be having that now, and they already had a talk with the manufacturers of Chevy, Toyota, and Ford. So that entire thing happened, and obviously Ryan Blaney won the race. But yeah, this is kind of like, well, I wouldn't say this is kind of like Spingate, but I don't know what to call this, like manufacture gate? I don't know what to call it. Maybe the biggest moment in NASCAR during the 2024 season happened off the track, that being the lawsuit, the ongoing lawsuit between NASCAR and the teams of 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports. Mainly about the charter agreement. I haven't really kept track of it too much, but I'm pretty sure recently, by the time of me making this video, that'd be Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas to everyone if you are watching this on Christmas Day or even after Christmas, Day. I'm pretty sure 2311 and Front Row Motorsports, they were given, basically, they were allowed to compete under charter teams. Originally, they weren't going to compete under as a charter, they were going to compete as an open team, because of this ongoing lawsuit, as they didn't sign the charter agreement unlike all the other teams did. So there was this massive thing. They obviously went to court. NASCAR fired back, then teams fired back, and the judge obviously helped the team I should say, to gain their charters. So that means like the sponsors and even the drivers would also have a stable future. So it's a whole messy situation here. I am not the best person, I'll be honest, to talk about lawsuits and all that other stuff, so you could definitely search it up, search up about this lawsuit, and even you can even follow Bob Parkhurst as well on Twitter. But whatever happens in this lawsuit, it's going to drastically change what NASCAR is in the next coming years. And my final moment of the 2024 NASCAR season, that being Joey Logano grabbing his third championship. Yes, in a bit of a interesting way, as if you know the playoffs didn't exist, he would have been 15th, which is pretty disappointing to say the least. I'll be honest, because Logano, he was kind of nowhere. Up until bloody Nashville, where we had 5 overtimes because Austin Cindric forgot how to drive, and Logano won the fuel mileage, and then he won again in Las Vegas, and to punch his ticket in, Bowman, they got disqualified in the Charlotte Roval. It basically just time after time after time after time, Logano got lucky, and he won the championship. Like, yes, he was the best car in Phoenix, absolutely, I would not argue with that. But there is going to be a lot of questions over the playoffs about this championship. Like, obviously, there already is. I think NASCAR are currently working on potential solutions on what to do with that if that ever happens again. I hope they do make some changes, because it's getting a bit ridiculous. I'll be honest, having a 15th place driver win their championship is quite appalling. Because the playoffs, winning the championship is basically saying that you were the best driver in that year. Logano was not the best driver. Christopher Bell, I could say Christopher Bell was way better than Joe Logano, and he got fucked over the Martinsville fiasco. He can even say Kyle Larson, and guess what? He got fucked over the Indy 500 Coke 600 double after rain delays. So there was definitely some factors played in Logano's hands, and obviously there was factors that played against Logano's rivals. So yes, Logano won his third championship fair and square. It's just a very questionable way of winning it. So that's really about it for today's video. Obviously, I could have mentioned many more things, like Burr winning Daytona, Kyle Busch's struggles, and a bunch of other stuff that obviously happened this year, but I can't obviously mention everything, obviously. So now, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe, really help, especially on this channel. And that's really about it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys next time in the next one. Goodbye.